9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Tune in.
This is your Friday Night Lights podcast, photo and entertainment, and Middle Georgia sales and services. Coke, don't worry about Pepsi.
I had to go see a man about a meeting.
Look at here, look at here.
A-Town down.
And you better not lose.
Tune in.
Not so fast, my friend.
You better say it with your chest.
Come on now, shout it.
And you better not lose.
Hey, you better watch your mouth now.
I am a Lego.
Better shut your mouth.
Yes, I am. I don't mean to interrupt.
Better say it with your chest.
Let's get it.
And you better not lose.
What's going on, good people?
What's going on?
Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing, Miss Obadiah? We always know you're gonna be the first one checking in. We're glad to see you.
What's good, peoples? What's good, peoples?
What's going on, everybody? Y'all doing all right?
Okay,
Yeah.
Y'all had a good day
we
today?
No.
Oh
Man, let me, hold on. Let me take a deep breath first. All right, we good now.
all right. Well, to those of you who are listening, y'all go ahead and type and check in and let us know you're here so we can give you a proper welcome. But we'll go ahead and say welcome to the Wednesday night edition of the Friday Night Lights podcast. What's going on, Antoine? It's your girl Jess in the building. We have with us Thirsty B.S. Rollins Esquire. Say hello to the people.
What's good, peoples?
We have Mr. Dro. Say hello to everybody.
What's happening? What's going on?
And we have the lovely Miss Shakira. Say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
And soon we will have Yo. He dropped off for a minute, but he'll be back. What's going on, Antoine? What's going on, D? Y'all know what's going on. It's the Wednesday night edition. So we'll be talking about predictions, and we have some other stuff on slate for you tonight. So what's been going on with the listeners today? How was you all's day today?
Again, please let us know where you're checking in from. I see Obadiah. Again, what's good with you? Mr. Hill, how you and them Hoco Bears doing?
My day was good.
Well, that's awesome. How you doing, Mr. Wilson? What's going on? Hey, Mr. Britt, how you doing down there in Valdosta?
All I want family checking in. All right.
I see you.
Hey,
Okay. Well, it'll
hey,
get
Jess.
better tomorrow.
Hey, Jess, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What they say you is?
What do they say I am?
What they say you is?
I am all woman. My birth crazy. Let's see. Obadiah says I work at the hospital, so you already know how my day was. Yeah.
My Lord.
Bless
Prayers,
you.
Obadiah, prayers.
Antoine says we're just getting healthy to make this run. Needed this bye week. All right.
Look
What's
forward
up,
to
Mr.
y'all.
Slack?
Brandon Slack, what's going on, man?
What's going
Hey, Joe, there
on?
go your buddy Brandon Slack.
B Slack, what's going on, man? It's been a minute, brother. I know you proud of your Appleton County Pirates, man. I got to be honest with you. I think they'll make a deep playoff run this year. What you think about that, man?
They won't even win the region, but we ain't gonna talk about that today.
I think they will. I honestly think this is the year they go further than they do. They actually make the championship game. Now, whether they win, I don't know, but I think they'll make it.
Well, we do got a state champion fan checking in.
I see. What's going
Yeah.
on? Let me go in order. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Warriors? How you doing? Courtney Williams, Swainsboro checking in. Swainsboro versus ECI this week. About to put a hurting on them puppies.
Yes, y'all will. I think you will put a hurting on single A Division 2. I'm sorry, Division 1, and win that trophy this year.
All
All
right,
right.
Swainsboro. All right.
One of my best friends is from Swainsboro. D says, Obadiah, are y'all ready for Brooks? I'm almost 102% positive that they are.
That's the extra practice.
Well, damn.
Hey, this Wednesday edition, this ain't said with your chest, but somebody just opened up the whole chest then.
I mean, but if you think about it, they don't have that hammer this year. You know what I mean?
They don't.
They
They
do.
don't
It's a little
have it
tight.
this year.
It's that little tight hammer, that little toy hammer, but they got it.
I mean, I think they on the same formula that we are. You know, get to the region and try to make some noise and get better. I think that's the recipe they're following. That's the one we follow.
Definitely understood.
Daryl says, so has anybody checked on one of Robin's fans to see if they're okay?
But I also got some jokes.
I see.
Yeah, hey,
Okay.
Mr. Britt, we're gonna tell you right now. Now I know you celebrating that win over Wartime. You know, y'all beat them pretty good too.
Pretty good too,
So
bro.
let me ask you this question: do you see Valdosta holding that state trophy at the end of the season?
I got a better question for him, Joe. Do you even see you winning the region?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's
That's
a good one.
I
What's
got a
up,
question
man?
for him too. What's going on over there in Valdosta? Something brewing. I don't know what, but I seen the talk, and they trying to be hush hush.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it too, but I don't know what's what. But yeah, if you can give us some intel, let us know. What's going on, Al? How you doing?
What's going on, Trip? Yeah, Al a triplet now. Him, Zoe, and Jeremy, they are all triplets. They're no longer twins.
Yeah, he done stepped his.
See, they go to other triplet. Don't jump down.
Yes, hello, Jeremy.
Speaking of which, I got a question. Is Jeremy Williams and Jeremy Morris the same person?
You know what? I thought that they might be. However, 2 or 3 people, I looked at the profile and it seems legitimate. And 2 or 3 other people said he's from Dublin or Barber or something. Because I asked too. Yeah. So
okay, because I'm telling you, man, Jeremy, you survived another week. I'm just saying, man. Because Jeremy will pull out a fake profile in a minute. But you know what? Speaking of which, I know a lot of people are not fond of him or whatnot, but me and Elmo had a chance to kick it with him a little bit at the game last week. So it was good to see him in person and chop it up a little bit.
All right.
Well, I got a better suggestion then. If both of them be on towards the end of the show, you want to bring both of them?
I don't think Jeremy Morris will ever listen. So
Hey, Mike, need some Mike, man.
You ain't lying, man. Ice cubes and
You know what that means?
Hey, we know we got drinks in the back. We got some chicken wings and some dip and all kind of stuff. But just mute your mic, man.
Oh, my bad. I was in the back getting comfortable. My bad. I was back there chilling with the listeners and the viewers in the back, fixing me a drink. My bad.
Okay, no problem.
All right, I'll come back up to the front and sit back at the table like I'm supposed to.
There you
Well,
go.
thank you. We missed you. Daryl says that's Lounge that's got something brewing. We're good over here at Death Valley.
Okay.
Al says, see y'all starting already.
No, man, we just recognizing the twins have multiplied now, and just added. Well, we'll say added and got a new brother. So we ain't starting with this. Taking note. We taking note. We proud of you, bro.
Yeah, we just gonna say happy birthday to all 3 of y'all. All
There
3
you go.
of y'all
There you go.
on your birthday.
Now, Daryl Britt said that Lounge, he mentioned Lounge. Now, Lounge, they got East Coweta coming down there this week. So, Daryl, what you think about that? Let us know.
After an impressive victory over AAA state champion, East Coweta look real good. So we'll see what they do, and they have to go down to Lowndes. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's a road game for the Indians, but I tell you what, I know you mentioned state champion, but I put an asterisk by that.
Oh yeah, we know we got to goddamn get the red pen out and put that asterisk mark by there.
Yeah,
exactly.
Really.
So Pierce County don't feel bad. You got company with the asterisk,
right?
Calhoun too. Courtney Williams says another thing. Watch out for the Toombs County Bulldogs. They've got a wide receiver from Swainsboro, number 2. His name is Keyshawn. He's D1.
Okay.
Hey Courtney, shout out to Toombs County, man. I know Vidalia and Toombs don't get along, and I know with Toombs County being 3-0 now, I know they can rub it in Valdosta face. I'm sorry, Vidalia. We know Vidalia a couple of years ago had a real strong team in Toombs then, so I know they probably was catching all kind of troll coming from Vidalia, and I think it's don't switch, and Toombs County on top right now. So big up Toombs County.
Yeah. Obadiah wants you to fix him a drink too, Mike.
Oh, no problem, bro. Well, you know what? Nah, man. We pour our own troubles around here. Pour your own troubles around here.
And that might be too rich for his bud.
Yeah, because what do you drink, Obadiah? They drink Hennessy. You drink
girl, don't put me in that Hennessy category.
All right.
Slow your roll, Thirst.
Well, Obadiah on that Jack Daniels, I think. So.
Now we can talk. I drank some whiskey now.
What's going on, Mr. Allen? Let's go Big Blue. Is this Tiff County you talking about, Mr. Allen?
It better be Northside.
You ain't lying.
It better not be Tiff.
What's going on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They on the clock, Thomasville, ain't they?
They is on the clock. I just looked at my watch.
What's going on? Northside. Okay.
Oh, check this out then. Since you for Northside, Mark, are y'all overlooking North Cobb? Let us know.
I don't think so. I think they pulled an upset on North Cobb last year. We really wasn't expecting Northside to go up there and beat North Cobb, and I think that's what turned their season around with that victory. But I don't think, after losing the first game, and then they lost to Warner Robins, and then North Cobb kind of was heavily favored, and Northside beat them. I don't think Northside is overlooking them. But I know one thing, I think it'll be like it was last year. If North Cobb come here, Mike D, I see you on, Damon D have a good game, that running game, that defense as strong as they are, and they beat North Cobb. I can see that pushing Northside to make a pretty good run and try to challenge for that reason.
The reason why I said that is because a lot of people will look at North Cobb's record and they'll say, Northside should beat them. But you got to understand, North Cobb lost to 2 heavyweights. They lost to Westlake and Buford. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that game right there is one of my games of the week.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But like I was saying, though, I see if they make a good impression, I can see them fighting for that region. Although it's gonna come down to them and veterans for the 4th seed. I don't see Northside beating Lee, Hoko, or TCC this year. But I do know one thing: that 6A Region 1 going in as a 4th seed don't really mean nothing. I think that's the strongest region in football. I have said that before. So even as a 4th seed, I can see Northside making noise in the state playoffs.
Well, you mentioned veterans. How good is veterans, yo?
Veterans is good. Veterans is. I'll tell you what veterans put me in a mind of. If you remember last year, that Swainsboro team that faces PAC, where you had just track stars all over the field, that's what veterans doing. Veterans running out 3 or 4 wide receivers that you better have your DBs better have their cleats strapped up tight, because they got one in Preston Bird. And if you see the kid, he looked like he should be in elementary somewhere. But when I tell you that kid is the real deal, went for 6 touchdowns last week against Perry and had a chance to really give Perry a loss was going in for the winning touchdown, which he was exhausted and still played his heart out. That's why I think it'll be between Northside and Veterans fight for that 4th seed.
Okay.
Mike D says, do not sleep on Veterans or Northside.
We agree, Mike. But again, this year I don't think either team is strong enough to beat should be the favorites in that region, being Thomas County Central, Hoco, and Lee County. Now I would love for either one of the teams, kind of like Perry. I do have relatives on Northside and on Veterans team. So, I'll pull for Middle Georgia area, period, with all of them being in Middle Georgia. So I wouldn't mind Hoco, Veterans, and Northside making it. But when you're talking about excluding Lee County or Thomas County Central, that's tough.
Yeah, I don't see it. But
yeah, I don't see that happening.
Obadiah says, so Perry will make it to the 3rd round. I think Perry's going to make it as far as the round where they get with Benedict team.
Well, that is the 3rd round if they handle business and go in with 1 seed. I don't know if you all have been following 4A. I kind of have, because 3A is kind of the 4A this year. But Spalding County, who's also in Region 2, 4A Region 2 with Perry, Baldwin better this year. West playing some good ball, so we really don't know. But if Perry get the number 1 seed, they should face Benedict team in this 3rd round quarterfinals. And I have to say this, after watching Benedict team and Ware County, I think Perry might have a chance to get them. I really do. And I may be the only one on the panel that say that, but it's true.
Okay, well, yeah, if they make it past the 3rd round, I can see them playing for state, but I don't think they will. Ken Hortman says, poor Tifton, and that in that region, and got a petition to get the coach fired.
My Lord.
Whew. Y'all want to speak on that, or y'all want to wait?
Well, I ain't got nothing to say about that. Maybe the panel do.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
I ain't touching that.
Because I don't. All I'm gonna do is wish Tiff County the best, because that's a tough situation.
I'll say this though, Jess. I'm sure most of us remember when Tiff County used to be tough. They used to have that stick down there. I don't ever remember them winning state titles. I have to go back and check. But I do remember when they had, pretty good football teams, and they were very tough on defense as well. So maybe they're trying to recapture some of that glory they used to have.
Well, we asked that once. Dro, I don't know if you was on the show that day. We had a listener and we kind of chimed in on what happened to Tiff. Because again, Tiff was a pretty strong team. They was playing in a 4A region. 7A region with your Colquitt County, your Lees, and your Valdosta and whatnot before Valdosta dropped down to go back up. But and they handled their own in that region. I don't know what's going on. I know the kids and the athletes are still there in Tiff. Maybe it is a coaching situation. I don't know. But I do hope Tiff get it together. They do have a very, very talented quarterback. And a kid that's a Alcorn State commit, I think he is that guy, but maybe it is. I hear. I got a text message saying a lot of the Tiff kids are getting hit by Fitzgerald and Irwin. Not sure if the private school Tiff area there is hitting some of those kids also. But when things like that start happening, and start taking those talents to other counties and private schools, I guess that could be the downfall and the reason for Tiff demise.
Yeah, I could see that because they are right there together.
Yeah,
Osceola ain't that far from Tifton and nothing like that. So yeah,
we're across 75 and you from Tifton to Osceola.
Yeah, and then Ben Hill County right there next to Osceola. And then Coffee next to Ben Hill. So Obadiah said I'll speak on it. Tiff was sorry before they hired him. Whew.
Yeah, Obadiah. Yeah,
hold on, Joe. Let me take this one, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Y'all, dude, man, you got got Rogers down there. Okay, I'm gonna stand up and give you a standing ovation for Rogers. But man, stop acting like y'all just been running amok when you were just in 4A and you couldn't even make the playoffs, man. Y'all stop that TCC. That's why I'm so hard on y'all fans, man. Y'all got to understand that word that start with an H, man. It's called being humble. You just got the program back together. Now y'all act like y'all world beaters, man. You dropped the ball last year in the playoffs against Roswell, where we sat here and on this panel, we gave you your props. We said that you all should be fighting and playing the Langston Hughes for a championship. Check our receipts. We gave you the respect and said TCC looking good this year, should be facing Langston Hughes, and you dropped the ball. Be humble, man.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Charles Andrew Sneed said Irwin hadn't got nobody, but we could use us some.
Because let's be honest, Irwin used to be that stick too. And I think they don't lost a little luster there also.
Yeah, but
yeah, they seem to be rebuilding a little bit. I'm sorry, Jim. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing. What's up, nephew? He said preach. Obadiah says, nah, we speak on them. Don't jump on us. Just focus on the topic. And I ain't lying.
Hey, you family, Obadiah. We gonna.
I have at it. I'm staying out of this one.
Ken Hortman says the Tift quarterback has no relationship with his teammates. Been at 3 high schools in 2 years.
Special athletes, you got to get that timing and things down with these athletes and receivers and stuff, backs and all. So I kind of agree with what you're saying, Ken. But that's a special athlete. You know, this kid, cerebral, just playing the quarterback position, just his mind. He's built for it. I've seen him. You know, I've seen him with my own eyes. This ain't nothing I've heard. So, again, I think it's certain special athletes that can go anywhere at any given time. You know, that's what the spring practice and the OTAs are for, to get that timing down with your receivers and things like that. So I don't think that said, we know Tiff had a stud at defensive end who was a University of Georgia commit playing up at. Did he go to Georgia or did he switch to Auburn?
Which one?
Anybody remember?
I can't remember where
he was. The guy that won that was close, like Auburn was closer to his family or something like that.
I'm not sure. I know Tiff kind of had a defensive end that was a stud, and they really couldn't do much with. They still was middle to the bottom of the pack of the region and stuff. And first round exits. He went to Tennessee. My homeboy Eddie Gary just sent me. And he was a stud. So I mean, it's not like the athlete and the talent is not there. So again, maybe it is the coaching. I'm not sure, but I ain't gonna speak on the petition though.
The listeners said Tennessee as well. You got the text from Eddie. Tell Eddie I said what's up.
Ed, listen to us. Shout out Ed. Shout out Pat. They listen to us on YouTube.
Yeah, he Pat got his Peach kind of fan behind in here. What's up, Pat?
What's going on, fellas? Pat.
His name is Tyree West. That's what Charles
Tyree
said.
West. That's exactly it. Thank you, Mr. Sneed. And if you all knew Tyree West, you know he was a beast. So the talent is still in Tiff County.
They just got to kind of keep it there, and it's gonna. I don't know what's going on, but it's gonna take a lot of healing and repairing to kind of get back on track. So I wish you all the best, because really, when it comes down to it, it's about those babies.
Correct me if I'm wrong, panel. Didn't the kid that's playing at Baltimore went up to Montana, I think it was, and played wide receiver? Isn't he from Tiff also? Rashad Bateman, I think is his name.
I don't know. Podcast listeners, let us know.
Yeah, so I know it's talent in Tiff County is basically what I'm trying to say.
Cole and Charles and Mr. Sneed say, Cole says talent is everywhere in Tifton. Rashad Bateman is his name.
Yes, sir, that's him. Yeah. So maybe the fans have a point with this petition. Then I don't want to speak on it, but you call a spade a spade.
Yeah, and like I said, it comes down to those kids, and so I just want y'all to get it together for them. and the community. I mean, it's something about a winning football team in a small community that kind of brings them together. Especially in the late fall, early winter, like when those playoff runs, it's a special electricity in the air. So, I want everybody to kind of experience that in their
I mean,
lives.
think about it, Jess. We wait what? How many months before for football season to come back? And
And I
then
know we
8
talking
months.
about 7 6 7 months before spring, and then you worried about your OTAs. But the first game is normally after 8 months of waiting, and I'm
right,
going through withdrawals.
yep. And so
Yeah.
you're doing all that waiting, and you want, like Jess said, you want to see your team be successful. You want to be playing on into December. The goal is not to play 10 games and then get ready for round ball after that 10th week. You want to make these deep playoff runs. You want to have these memories, bragging rights, whatever you want to call it. See, the high school football level is so pure at times because of the love of the game. The kids, some of them probably won't even play football past high school. You know what I'm saying? I just enjoy it, man.
I
So
agree.
yeah,
Yeah. So Cole says, "Look, until you get the administration on board, TIFF will be the same old." How you doing, Mr. Wilson? Checking in from Savannah. Ken Hortman says the whole community has to buy in, and they haven't in Tifton. They were against this coach from day one because he came from a private school in Michigan.
Now, if I could jump in real quick off of that, man, that's a killer, man. Oh God, I wish people understood that. I myself can speak on this because my high school team is going through this right now, man. Understand, man. These coaches, you have to buy in and support them. When you start downing a coach from day one, you're not even giving him an opportunity to see and succeed. Because again, like Sis said, it's all about these kids, man. Y'all got to understand that we as fans, yes, we enjoy the game. We enjoy watching these kids run up and down the field and play the game that we all love and have played or have watched for years. But man, it's all about these kids, man. These coaches are these mentors who are trying to teach these kids to be young men and get to the next level as successful young men. So when you start coming in bashing a guy before you even give him an opportunity to know who he is and what his plan is for a program, he's already behind the 8 ball, and that makes it a whole lot worse for these kids as well as a program.
Ken, we not finna I'm just not finna read that. That's shots fired, and this is not Friday night. Mark Allen says he agrees with you, yo. Kenneth Hurst says it's all about these children.
So, can I say something?
Go ahead, sis. I know you read it.
I was trying.
And I was trying not to. Yeah, so everything that Ken said is correct. We going through it. And we actually gave the coach a chance. That's the difference. In our case, we weren't just against them. But honestly, Thomasville needs to follow suit. It ain't working. Get him out of there.
Get him out of here.
Ooh.
The children ain't. It's horrible. Like really bad.
I'm praying for you guys. Really, I really am.
And that's all I'm gonna say.
I am too. So maybe you get some stuff worked out. I know our house ain't clean, but we working it out, sweeping around our own door, and we gonna be okay. But I need 3A to get back to prominence.
Yes.
You ain't lying, man.
You know,
Right.
I'm tired of looking at rankings and seeing teams that you wondering who they in 3A.
Right. Like where is that?
Yes. You know, coming up talking about Morgan County beating somebody this year. Didn't they beat somebody from Region 8 on last week, Friday? Hebron Christian or one of those teams? Like, are you serious?
Yeah. Jadon Harris, welcome, Jadon. He says, well, that's the problem with South Georgia football. Okay. Obadiah says, so do y'all think Tifton will beat someone they're not supposed to in the region?
No.
not especially not with all that's going on down there.
I don't care what's going on in Tifton, Georgia. They ain't beat nobody in that region. And I meant to say those double negative, like they ain't beat nobody in that region.
Let's see. Jadon Obadiah said you ain't telling the truth. Cole says Cole Shaw should be getting 15 to 20 touches in Thomasville. Mr. Sneed, heck no to what? What are you talking about? And
they're not winning no game in that region. That's exactly what
okay. Okay. Let me know.
I agree. That man been beasting since his sophomore year. They have underplayed him this entire time. And it sucks because this is his senior year. And the kid not getting the looks he's supposed to get. So recruiters ain't looking. Not like they should be.
So
Well, I do want to interrupt that. I hate to interrupt this conversation we having, y'all.
Go ahead.
But we do have somebody that just joined us tonight. We got a special guest online joining us. So would like to, for everyone that's online, we would like to welcome Super Bowl 29 champion, first round draft pick in the 1990 NFL draft, Mr. Dexter Carter of the formerly of the San Francisco 49ers. Mr. Carter, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How y'all doing?
All right.
Welcome
Hello.
in, Mr. Carter.
Welcome, Mr. Carter.
Thank you. Hey, and by the way, once you're a Niner, you're always a Niner, not a formerly.
Hey.
Thank you for that correction, sir.
Before we get into the interview, Mr. Carter, with you saying that, I remember the NFC West. I'm an Atlanta Falcon fan. So
we got to talk about this.
You did some things to me that I'm not pleased with, Mr. Carter, but we're going to let you 49ers have that today.
Hey, you know what? Hey, my man, I grew up a Falcon fan.
Yes, sir.
Growing up in South Georgia, but once I became a Niner, back in them early mid-90s, man, well, actually before I got there, because I got there right after we won back-to-back Super Bowls, and and the winning continued, so we just had to do what we had to do to my Falcons, man.
There you go.
It's okay. We're going to let it slide. You back home in Georgia, so we're going to let it slide.
That's right. Good. Hey, good to be with you guys, though.
Yes, sir.
And we are glad to have you. So, speaking of your days in Southern Georgia, you are from Baxley, Georgia, Appleton County.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. You got any stories of your playing days down in Appleton County?
Well, I tell you what, back when I played, man, I was very, very fortunate throughout my entire career to have some good teams. I would like to think that, I had something to do with that, but nonetheless, man, I played with some great coaches, some great players, and won throughout my life. And Appleton County, after my Pop Warner days, my middle school, and then going to Appleton County Pirates, man, I'm telling you, down there in South Georgia, hey, it's like Cedar Grove, man. We different,
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But it's a lot of great teams down there, man. From the Valdosta's to the Worth counties to the Lee counties to the Colquitt counties, and the Coffee counties where Tyreek Hill played. I mean, and Pierce County there where quarterback that just left Georgia and went up to the Stetson Bennett from Pierce County, right 30 minutes from where I grew up. So yeah, it's some football down there, man. And we were fortunate. Let's see, my senior year we went 9-1, went to the playoffs, lost to Thomasville. But we won the region, of course the sub region. But yeah, we had some winning teams back then, man. And having my boys at Cedar Grove, just bringing back memories of that, the Georgia football in general.
I hear you. I hear you. And we do appreciate having your boys at City Grove. I will say that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure you
Oh,
do.
hey. By the way, I forgot to tell you because you did ask me some specifics about my playing days. My I finished my career. I played 3 years on varsity. Should have started as a freshman, but the head coach, thought there was another dude that he thought was better than me. But nonetheless, it only took him a year to see that it was that I was different. But my sophomore year I had 1,800 yards rushing. My junior year I had 1,600 yards rushing. No, I'm sorry. My sophomore year I had 800 and something. Then my junior year I had 1,800. Then my senior year I had 1,600. So I finished with about 4,300 yards rushing. Which I think numbers are good enough, and I am trying to push the Georgia High School Hall of Fame. I should have been in there, man. I should be in the Georgia Hall of Fame and the High School Georgia Hall of Fame, but maybe somebody will get me in there one day. We'll see.
For sure, for sure, for sure. We think you're gonna end up there. If Quincy Carter can get there, you can get there too.
I hope so, man. I hope
And the
so.
only reason I bring that name up is Quincy Carter down the street from City Grove. So,
Hey,
and I know
no
Quincy
doubt.
probably gonna listen in eventually.
Yeah. And hey, Southwest the Cab, right?
Correct.
Yeah. He did his thing as a player, man, and obviously represented, them well at Georgia and his time in the league, man. And he's still doing great things for his community right now, being back there. So, he is definitely deserving to be in there. And I tell you what, I think I am too. And maybe he need to speak up for me. I don't know.
We got you. We hear you. We hear you. I'm gonna follow on. Okay, so we talked about your high school year. What a lot of folks may not understand is that you went to Florida State University, played for Florida State under Bobby Bowden, and you happen to be there at the same time that another one of your teammates is making a lot of noise right now in the college world, Deion
Yeah.
Primetime Sanders.
Yeah. I came
So,
in. Yeah.
so my
Yeah.
question is for you on this one is, what was your experience like? One, being coached by Bobby Bowden, and two, playing with Primetime at Florida State.
Yeah. Playing for Bobby Bowden was definitely a godsend for me. I had no idea who the man was, being honest with you, until I found out who he was after my junior year. Um, but just have going and playing for a man that allowed his players under the umbrella of following the guidelines and the rules. Now, he allowed his players to be who they were. Just like when I got there as a freshman, um, Coach Bowden got there in 1976. By the time 1980 came, they went undefeated in 1980, went to the Orange Bowl, lost to Oklahoma, and then so he had already won before we got there, and then he continued to win. But 1987, which was my sophomore year, a year after Dion and his class came in, they were the number one class in the country. And then our sophomore year is when we started that 14-year dynasty where Florida State never dropped lower than fifth in the country, preseason, during the season, or postseason. And so I know my sophomore year, we finished number 2 in the country in 87 and 88, and finished 3rd in the country in 89, my senior year. And Dion was a part of Dion was part of 87 and 88. And believe it or not, I know you see the prime time now, but Dion was absolutely the exact same way in 1986 when I got there. He created prime time, and he said, and you guys probably have heard the story, but he said he created prime time because he realized that there was no defensive backs in the NFL making that big time money. So he had to create a method in which he could get attention to the position. But the one thing that people didn't bank on was Dion was really, really, really good. And he talked the talk, but he walked the walk. And I tell you, God bless all of us with talent. But he blessed Dion with something different. Dion, now Dion would be the first to practice. He would be the last to leave the field. So a lot of people see the talent, but they don't realize that man is his work ethic was impeccable. I mean, it was off the chain. He didn't miss reps. He worked hard. So yes, he's prime time, but prime time works hard. That's why he's doing the same thing now. Then same thing he did then, he's doing now. He's just doing it as a coach. A lot of people see the results now, but he did it when he was coaching his boys in Pop Warner. He was doing it when he was, coaching Jackson State. So he's the same dude right now that he was then. He's working hard. He's surrounding himself with great people, coaches around him, just like some of the coaches that fed at Jackson State. When he went on to Colorado, some of those coaches don't fit Colorado and what he needed. So he's a great coach, man. He knows how to bring the people in that he needs. And so it's not a surprise to me. It's not a surprise that he had the turnover at Colorado that he had, because with the rules of the transfer portal, he's going to use it to his advantage. And that's what he did. And that's why they're winning the way they're winning right now.
That some people in the national media underestimate prime time, and I think he's closing a lot of mouths, so to speak. And I'm actually happy to see, what he's doing at Colorado. I guess I'm a Buffalo fan now, But do you think he has what it takes to, put Colorado in a position to hoist that national trophy one day?
You know what? I don't think anybody would bet against him after what they've seen in the first 2 weeks. Somebody who like Dion, who is one of the best marketers I've ever seen. But when you're marketing a product that's a true product, it's easy to market that, but he's put together that product, so I wouldn't bet against him because one, he knows the template, he knows the plan. He played for Coach Bowden. He learned a lot of stuff from Coach. He played for the 49ers, where he learned from, Bill Walsh wasn't there, but a lot of the resemblances of how Bill Walsh built that program, George Seifert took it, and Dion learned from him. He learned from Ray Rose, who coached him at defensive backs and was the head coach at Philadelphia, and and D coordinator at Green Bay. He learned from the Mike Shanahan. He learned from Jimmy Jones. He learned from those Dallas coaches. All he did was put that together with who he was, and that's why if you look back at his records when he coached, his boys from every level that they grew up on, he won because he took everything that he learned as a player, growing up through the system, and then the college level and the pro level, and he's just implementing all that right now. So yes, I tell you what, I'm betting with him because I know he knows how to evaluate talent, and he knows how to evaluate and bring in the right coaches. And you know what? That's how you can turn a team around from winning 2 games last year to being 2-0. Already in the first 2 games of the season. So yes, I think it's possible for him to hoist that trophy. Now, will it be easy? No, because you still got the Nick Sabans, you still got the Mike Norvells at Florida State that has turned that program around. You still got, the Michigan, the Georgias, Kirby Smart. So you still got all these teams, but I tell you what, he's got a shot. He has definitely got a shot to win it at some point.
All right. Anybody else got a question for Mr. Carter? I want to ask him an important question, but I can wait till after y'all.
Mr. Carter, let me jump in real quick, Mr. Carter. I'm Yo. I met you at EJ's signing. Pleasure to meet you and talk to you again. My question is, speaking of Dion and his coaching and things like that. Now, I know you coached at FSU on mountain staff, and I think you have done some high school coaching. I know your son is still in high school. So are you looking to get back in coaching? If so, what level? Will it be high school, college?
You know what? Yes, I actually I coached from Florida State. I coached with Florida State. After Florida State, and I've coached Pop Warner on up because I have a 26-year-old son that just finished 2 years ago. He played wide receiver at Georgia Southern, and I coached him and Pop Warner growing up. I coached him at the Bowles School in Jacksonville, Florida. After I coached at Florida State, and we went to four straight state championship games from 2011 to 2014, and won a state championship in 2011. So, and then I coached at Grovetown in Augusta from 2016 to 2021. And then I took a break because I just, other than coaching my Devin and Jalen, my youngest boys, in their youth football, but and believe it or not, prior to 2 weeks ago, I when I transferred Devin back up here to Cedar Grove, we spent the first 2 weeks in Augusta, Georgia, where I was the quarterbacks coach on Augusta Christian. And then when I decided to transfer him back here, after the coach there was fired, which I greatly disagreed with, great coach that I think is going to be a college coach one day. The school fired him for no reason. So I was like, you know what? That's the whole reason why we stayed in Augusta instead of coming back to Cedar Grove. So I transferred Devin back here after week 2, and I trust and I believe in Coach Adams and this staff that he has at Cedar Grove. Last year when Devin was here, I sat back as a dad and I watched because I like what they were doing as coaches. So when I came back up here this year, I did the same thing. I stepped back and I'm letting Coach Adams do what he does. And so I'm not coaching, but I would like to coach again one day. I have aspirations to coach in the NFL, college again. But right now, I know once I coach on that level, I would not have an opportunity to see my boys play. And so I don't really want to dedicate the time to it that it takes, because I want to dedicate the time that, I want to watching my boys play their high school years.
Okay.
So, Mr. Carter, hello. How are you?
Hey,
first of all,
I'm good. Thank you.
Good. I just wanted to let you know that I have been a Florida State Seminole fan since 1988, much to the chagrin of some of my panel members, but that's neither here nor there. So I've been with Florida State. I've been with Florida State through the wide rights, through Free Shoes University, all of that. So
okay, now you said the wide rights and the free shoes. Now that was after me. So
I know, but I'm just saying I've been there for a long time.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know how old you are. I don't know how old you are. I was just curious, But hey,
yeah.
At the end of the day, thank you.
Yes. But a question that I have for you. I know you mentioned, your high school career. If there are any young athletes out there listening, what advice would you give a young athlete about being successful at football, despite the challenges or setbacks that they might face?
Well, one, to me, being successful in anything is about, being committed to whatever there is that you want to do, being disciplined, and if you're disciplined, you're going to be consistent and what you're trying to do. If you're those three things, the execution of it is going to be there. And what I see a lot of what goes on today is it seems like everything is instant coffee, instant microwave, instant get on the internet and find this and find that, and everything happens so quick. And the work that's put in that we used to put in doesn't seem to be put in now. Everybody thinks they're a 5-star from the beginning. What I would tell these kids is, one, just focus on that which you enjoy doing. If it's athletics, football, don't just focus on being good. It's very small margin between good and being great. And if you want to be great, you have got to do that which is over and beyond. You've got to work harder than the next man. and you've got to do more than what the coach asks. You can't go home and only let that which you do to get better be when you're on that practice field. You got to do everything you can to get better, and you don't really have to be a superstar. You just got to be good at what you do. And what I like to tell parents, and I like to tell the athletes, is this: don't rely on your high school coach to dictate or determine how good you could be and the exposure that you get. I tell parents in middle school, figure out 3 to 5 schools that you really like. Now, one may be a Power 5 school, but we have to be realistic on how good our kids are. Take them to that Power 5 school that they like, but also take them to a realistic mid-level school during the summers. They have 1 to 3 day camps, and this is what got me my Florida State offer back in 1985. Take them to these football camps, because what happens if you start taking them the summer after their 7th grade year, they may not, get the attention that they want, but they're learning things that these college coaches are teaching. And what happens is you take them in the 7th grade, 8th grade. By the time the 9th grade come, the coaches start seeing the intelligence. They start seeing the improvement that these kids did from one year to the next. And they start seeing the physical growth in these kids, because now they're offering kids in 8th grade. So what you do is you start letting these coaches that make the decisions to give these offers, you start letting them see your kid and the improvement that your kid has year after year. That's what I would advise to parents and to the kids, because if you do the work that I'm telling you to do to get better, it's going to show within 3 years from 7th grade to 9th grade. And if you don't start getting, the attention that you think you should by the time 9th and 10th grade come, then you probably aren't as good as you think you are. And you probably should start going, instead of to the Florida States, the Alabama, and the Georgias, you might want to go to nothing against Middle Tennessee, but Middle Tennessee and those schools that are maybe mid-level that can still get you to the NFL, because some kids, they develop more later on. But if you're good, Georgia may not see it, Florida State may not see it. But if you're good, the NFL is going to find you at Middle Tennessee State. They're going to find you at Valdosta State. They're going to find you at Jackson State. You know what I'm saying? So just put in the work and you'll get what you deserve.
Great advice. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Man, you knocked out 2 questions in one, because I sure was going to ask you to give some advice to the parents about the recruiting process from a parent point of view.
Absolutely. And you know what? As you've seen Devin play at Cedar Grove, and he's one of the top 50 players in the country. Being specific, 34 and on 247, and 36 and 247, top 34 in the country with on 3. And Rivals came out yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, but Rivals came out, and I don't know what in the heck they were thinking. They got him. They don't even have him ranked as a receiver. They have him ranked as an athlete, and they have him ranked 54th, in the country, which, hey, still nothing to complain about, but he should be ranked as a receiver, not an athlete. But what was your question? I seriously lost my train of thought.
No, the question was, okay, the thing was, you answered 2 questions in one, because I was going to ask you, what type of advice would you give parents from the parent point of view about the recruiting process? Because now let me lay the foundation. What a lot of people may not understand is your son has already made a verbal commitment to your alma mater, Florida State. So therefore, as a parent speaking to another parent, what type of advice would you have for them for this recruiting process?
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing first. Yes, Devin committed to Florida State, not because his daddy said commit to Florida State, but he did it. But my job as a parent at that point was, okay, I get it for the reasons that you wanted to commit to Florida State. And he gave me his reasons, and they were spot on. and made me go, okay, I see what you mean. But what I told him, what I told Coach Norvell at Florida State, and what I told the other Power 5 schools that have offered him, I said, okay, he's committed. That's a good thing, because with the transfer portal, you got about 50% of the transfer portal kids taking up these scholarships that used to go to high school kids. So he got that slot at Florida State. But I also know in 3 years that he's got left of high school, a whole lot of things can happen. Okay, Florida State can drop. If they're not developing receivers to go to the NFL or get drafted in the NFL, he won't be going to Florida State. Because that's one thing about it. He's got to go somewhere where they're developing him, that's going to develop him to get drafted early in the NFL. So what I told him, I said, one, the one thing that all these other teams now, and the teams actually say, you know what, we're not going to start recruiting him. What's good about it is now we know who we're competing against. So what I'm doing with Devin, we just came back from Alabama-Texas game. The week before, we were at FSU-LSU game. This weekend, we're going to Georgia-South Carolina, doing what a parent's supposed to do. I'm going to make sure we continue to take him to these other games of teams that have offered him, because, one, we don't know what's going to happen in 3 years. I want them to know we're still interested. Yes, he's committed to Florida State, but, one, anything can happen in 3 years. So what parents have to do is, whether they're offered or not, do what I said about taking them to these schools and these camps. The other thing is the kids got to be good enough, because teams are not just going to invite you to a game to take up tickets when they got kids all across the country that they want to bring up to these games. So you've got to be able to get these teams' attention. And again, as I said, you got to get them in front of them. And their talent's going to determine whether these teams are going to be interested. But that's the only way that you get them to these games. I don't know if I answered your question or not, but I hope I did.
Well, I guess the main thing is, because we do try and provide information and knowledge, firsthand experience from people that come on, whether it's EJ Colson or a coach from a current high school, or yourself, because we try and provide information to the student athlete and the parent on this recruiting process, because the recruiting process has changed a whole lot.
Yes.
Nowadays you got to have a Twitter account to show, and you got to have a Huddle account. You got to make sure that you pay your $100 fee and get into basically get into the transfer portal as a high school student, the NCAA portal, to be recruited. You have to send your SAT. You have to send your SAT scores to that transfer portal, so every school can see. Every school.
Yeah, and to be specific, it's the NCAA clearinghouse.
Yeah, that's it.
That you got to go register, and they give you a number, and that's how, because when coaches come and recruit at schools, they're showing up because the majority of kids that they're recruiting, they already know that their grades are representative of them being able to go to college. So they can see those grades in that in that NCAA clearinghouse portal, which you call it. So yeah, that's a great thing to tell the parents, and I missed that earlier. So I'm glad that you brought it up. Parents have to do that, whether their kids are being recruited or not. When they hit 9th grade, sign them up and pay the $100 or so, for that clearinghouse, so they can their kids can be technically eligible, to be recruited.
All right, I appreciate that, but let's talk about you. You gave us a high school, some high school info, some college info. I want to know what your experience was like playing with the San Francisco 49ers and actually winning a Super Bowl with them. How was that year in the NFL for you? To give the listeners i.e., those athletes that are currently listening, something that they can get to motivate them to get to that level that you got to.
And if I could say one thing before I get to the pro part, how I got there, and this got to be motivation.
Mhm.
When I came in as a freshman to Florida State, I didn't get redshirted, which means you have 3 to 5 years. You got to play minimum 3 years to be eligible for the NFL, but everybody's not ready to make the NFL in 3 years. I didn't get redshirted, so that means I only had 4 years. I ended up getting my bachelor's degree. Usually, you're on the pace for 5 years to get your degree. So when I didn't get redshirted, I played my freshman year, played behind Sammy Smith, who was a year ahead. He came in with Dion, year ahead of me. He was the 9th pick overall to the Miami Dolphins in 1988, the year Dion came out. So I worked my way up to second team to back him up for 3 years, but I ended up getting 800 yards. Let's see, I got 800 yards as a sophomore, 600 as a junior, and then another 600 and something as a senior. And then I was 2 years shy of getting my degree. But what's interesting is I went back after 7 years of the NFL, and Florida State paid for my 2 semesters to get my degree. Got my degree and went on and got a master's degree in business management after that. But my senior year, which I had solely to myself, I ended up having like 600 yards rushing. Now, we were mostly a passing team. So if I were you, I would think, wait a minute, you had 600 and some yards rushing as a senior. Yeah, y'all finished number 3 in the country. How in the heck did I become a first-round draft pick? Because that's interesting. I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to tell you how. And this is motivation. This is don't allow or let where you're at determine where you can go. I know that I was a projected 3rd through 5th round draft pick. Well, after your senior year, there's a couple things that goes on that can determine where you go to. Well, I was invited to the Senior Bowl. Matter of fact, I was a late invite. I went to Mobile, Alabama, a whole week, and that's when every NFL executive is there. All the scouts, head coaches, they're there for a whole week, and they're looking at you like you're cattle, okay? Buddy Ryan was my coach, who has passed away, and I'm so thankful Buddy Ryan was my coach, because if you guys remember Buddy Ryan was a hitter. He had his defenses hitting. He had that 85, 86 Chicago Bear team that some people say still is the best defense ever, that won that Super Bowl. Well, Buddy Ryan coached the South team, and God put him, just like he put Bobby Bowden in place for me, he put Buddy Ryan in place for me, because the North team was Marty Schottenheimer's team. And Marty Schottenheimer, that whole weekend in the Senior Bowl, he didn't have his team hit in practice at all. And they thought that was great. But for Dexter Carter, Buddy Ryan was the best selection for me. You know why? Because Buddy Ryan had us banging in practice every single day. And those NFL scouts and executives were there, and they were watching us. And what it allowed me at 5'9", 170 pounds, show them that I can block linebackers and I can block defensive ends. It showed them that I can run between the tackles and break long runs, and I had the speed to get outside and break long runs. And before that game started, I had worked my way up to starting, even though I was a late addition to that game. I got in that game and ended up winning most outstanding offensive player trophy in the game. I had 8 carries for 64 yards, had a couple of receptions, and I had a couple of kickoff returns. When that game ended, I was projected a potential first-round draft pick from that game. Then the combine came around. I went to the combine and ran a 4.34. I was the fastest running back in the draft. That was the draft that Emmitt Smith was in, if everybody remembers.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, the buzz starts to kick because they saw this 170-pound guy run between the tackles, and they saw my speed on the practice field, in the game, and then I go to the combine and they see it in the 40. So I'm so thankful I had Buddy Ryan that gave me a chance to get out there and bang with the big boys, because it showed these, as I said, the NFL, scouts and coaches and execs. So at the end of the day, the draft comes around, and the back-to-back Super Bowl champions, drafted me in the first round. Man, I was so excited. And they told me, they said, well, them, Pittsburgh, and the Falcons, let's say it was not the Falcons, it was Pittsburgh, Chuck Noll, who was coach of the Steelers, and the 49ers said, hey, if you're there, we're going to get you in the first round. Where Chuck Noll ended up getting, man, I forgot who he got, but anyway, he didn't get me. But the 49ers, man, I was thrilled when they called my name. So I go to San Francisco, and I'm there with Roger Craig, whom I believe everybody knows. And he was the greatest guy, man. I'm talking about he was a mentor to me. He didn't worry about me being in competition, because some people, if you saw when Love went to Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers was like, I'm not hipping him. He just better learn. And then, and you remember last year, the quarterback with the Titans did the same thing to the quarterback from Liberty. He said, it's not my job to freaking groom him. What he learns is what he learns, But Roger Craig wasn't that way. Roger Craig, man, was a mentor to me. He, I was so thankful. But that entire team, man, to watch them practice, was the way that we practiced at Florida State. I'm talking about, man, just the effort and energy. Everything was full speed. Roger Craig, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, man, those guys, I'm telling you, prime example, when we run a play, let's say Jerry Rice caught a slant. John Taylor on the right side, Roger Craig from the backfield, the tight end, everybody literally would run 50 yards down the field after every play. Every play. That's how they got their condition. In 7 years, we never conditioned one time after practice, ever. Because we conditioned within the play. And we did not, and something else that's a shock. Not one time in 7 years during the season did we ever wear pads in practice. Wow. Not one time. We wore helmets in the morning practice and baseball caps in the afternoon. But everything we did was full speed.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
so, yeah.
Man, Now, I just want the viewers to understand the running backs that were taken in that draft before you. At that time in 1990, you had Blair Thomas out of Penn State went number 2.
Yep. Overall.
All right.
Yep.
Overall. And then you had Emmitt Smith out of Florida went to the Cowboys at number 17 overall.
Yep.
Darrell Thompson from Minnesota went to the Green Bay Packers at 19.
Yep.
The Falcons took Steve Broussard out of Washington State at number 20.
Yep.
At 24, the New York Giants took Rodney Hampton out of Georgia.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. Then you at the number 25 spot out of Florida State. But you had a good year because, if I'm not mistaken, your rookie year is when Roger Craig got hurt and you came in and played. But But the thing is, you really made your money at punt return and kick return in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure did. Yep. As you said, I led the team in rushing. I came in, Roger Craig got hurt again around game 5 or 6. So from game five or 6 through game 14. I started and got almost 500 yards rushing in 5 or 6 games and had 4.1 yard average. But Roger Craig came back. We went to the NFC Championship game, and we lost to the Giants in literally the last 3 seconds. They kicked a field goal to win the game. Well, and what's interesting is in that game, it was less than 2 minutes to go, and we were up. We were up by 2 points. We're on their 40-yard line. The Giants had no timeouts. Lawrence Taylor and those guys had no timeouts. All we had to do, we had the ball. All we had to do was hold on to the ball. And unfortunately, the very first play, Roger Craig and Joe Montana, the mishap of the ball, it went up in the air. Lawrence Taylor catches it out the air. They possess it.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, and then Hostetler, methodically drove them down the field and in field goal range.
Yep.
Man, I tell you, what's crazy is I've never been on field goal block in my life. All of a sudden, they get in field goal range and they call the field goal team out, and the special team coach, Dexter Carter, where you at? He puts me out there, tells me go out there and block the kick. Man, I ain't know what I was doing. So he puts me on the right side, and I've seen highlights over the years. You guys probably have seen it and never noticed it. But I come off the right side, not knowing what I'm doing, and you see me dive. Man, I landed. I'm like 3 feet from the ball. So I probably dove early, but I'm on the ground. And as they show the ball going through the upright, I'm literally lying down looking at it. I got a bird's eye view. Man, I was so hurt. I didn't watch the Super Bowl that year. Matter of fact, I don't think I watched any Super Bowl until the next one 4 years ago when we went to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
But let me tell you how rookie it destroyed me. We go in the locker room. Now, the game is over. They think the game is over. I go in the locker room. They already had put the champagne, the confetti's in there, the NFC champ hats and shirts are in there because it was less than 2 minutes to go in the game. It was over. And so even seeing that really, I ain't going to lie, it hurt. Because it's one thing if I go in and I don't see nothing, but I went in there and I saw all of it. So I went, I made Fort Lauderdale home. So, I flew, once we had checkout physicals and stuff, I flew back to Fort Lauderdale and didn't even look at the Super Bowl. But I came back the next year. But nonetheless, in my 7 years, we went to 4 NFC Championship games. 3 was against Dallas. My rookie year was against the Giants. And if y'all remember those Dallas years, boy, they
was crazy. They was fun to watch as a fan. They was fun to watch as a fan.
Absolutely. And you know what? But we finally, they won 92-93 and went to the Super Bowl and won. We finally beat them in 94 to go to the Super Bowl and win it. But I tell you what, I cherish that one because they don't come easy. Some people never sniff the Super Bowl, much less win it. And I was able to get one game from the Super Bowl 4 out of my 7 years. And man, what a joy and experience it was, man. It was awesome. It was absolutely amazing.
I appreciate it. We do have a couple.
That was the y'all played when y'all played the Chargers in the Super Bowl. Steve Young was y'all quarterback that year, wasn't he?
Yeah, Steve Young was quarterback that year, and we destroyed them 49-29, and we knew. I'm just being honest. We knew going into the game we were going to destroy them. And the toughest thing was how do you go into halftime, keep the focus, and come out and have that same zest? And we did. We did because we were very professional. Matter of fact, the Super Bowl ring says winning with class. Part of that is how we win, and part of it is, professionalism and practicing the way you play. Because the year that we won the Super Bowl, Dion came, and I remember when we got word that Dion might come, I had about 4 veterans. Harris Barton, one of our starting tackles, Steve, Jerry Rice, and I forgot who the other one was. They came to me, and I'm gonna be honest, they were not happy. They were not happy because all they knew is what they saw, and they saw the prime time, the glitter, and they felt like he would disrupt what the 49ers were about, which was winning with class, being professional and doing it a certain way. And I told them, I said, hey guys, I'm gonna tell you, you know what? If you don't play with him, you're gonna hate him because you're gonna think he's all, prime time. And I said, but I'm gonna tell you, nobody practices as hard as him. Nobody stays out there longer than him, and he's gonna be the first one out to practice. I mean, he studies like crazy, so he knows his job. That's why nobody throws his way. I said, that's the deal you're gonna get. Now, you are gonna get the dancing. You're gonna get prime time. And I'm gonna tell you, when he came, it was about maybe 4 to 6 weeks after he came. Every one of them came up to me at some point and said, "You were right. You were right." Now, there were times I saw Steve Young dance after touchdown. He never danced. Jerry, if you notice, started having a little special strut in his step. Merton Hanks was doing his little chicken, his little chicken head. I mean, and then you had William Floyd who just came out of Florida State winning the national championship. And William Floyd was that Florida State flash and dash too. And then we had Dedrick Dodge, who was out of Florida State, and they all were that, more than me. I was that more laid back, but and then we had Ricky Waters, who was from Notre Dame, but he was that flashy dashy thing too. And I'm gonna tell you, man, we won that Super Bowl. Out of the 5 Super Bowls the 49ers won, that Super Bowl had a different personality. And it was one that Jerry and Steve and the guys accepted that they didn't think that they would accept, but they accepted it. And Dion did primetime things. He won the Defensive Player of the Year. When they threw the ball, they would go almost all game not throwing his way. Then they would mess up and throw his way, thinking they were going to catch him slipping, and he would pick it off and go 6 the other way. But now there was only one time. There was only one time that there was a primetime issue, and it, it's been, they've talked about it. There's been a story on NFL Net. They did some type of thing on 30-30 about it.
The documentary on the Super Bowl.
Yeah. When Dion and Jerry almost had it out the night before the Super Bowl, because when we got it was awesome for me because I was living in Fort Lauderdale, so the Super Bowl was in Miami. Well, actually, the Super Bowl was at the Dolphin Stadium, but the stadium was in Fort Lauderdale. So the coach let me stay home three of the first nights we were there, which was really cool. But when we pulled up to the hotel in Fort Lauderdale, Dion already had a Lamborghini waiting on him.
I knew that was coming.
Hey, Dion was ready to go out on the town, and Jerry was like, "This is a business trip, man. You can't do that, But the first few nights he didn't trip about it. But there was an issue because Dion and some of the guys went out, like we all did, but they were late for curfew. Now they were late for curfew. And that was a problem because Jerry is all business. He might have danced around that season, but he's still all business. One thing that we had after Wednesday night, you can drink all you want from Sunday after the game to Wednesday, but after Sunday you can't drink. So So when we got to the Super Bowl, I forgot how many days we were there. I know we might have been there for 2 weeks, but the guys definitely shouldn't have been late for curfew. And Dion had a problem with it, so we had a team meeting, a team only meeting. And man, I am telling you, Jerry was pissed, and Dion was like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me we work all year to get to the Super Bowl, and we can't have a good time? Man, y'all crazy. I'm having a good time, and I'm gonna still go out there and ball. Jerry was like, not on my watch. Man, I'm telling you, they had to be separated. It was crazy.
I could believe it.
No, I seen the documentary, and that's what Jerry Rice said. Jerry Rice he got up in their face, but Dion went out doing for that Super Bowl and showed out and balled out. And Dion was like, look, man, we about to smash the Chargers anyway.
Exactly, yep.
And what they ended up doing, smashing the Chargers.
And we smashed it, so.
What, a couple of weeks after the Super Bowl, back at the facility, Jerry Rice out there running around catching passes, getting ready for the next year.
Hey, and that's the thing that was amazing. After every season, when that NFC Championship game was over or the Super Bowl, 2 weeks later, Jerry was working like we were starting the season next week. It was incredible.
Yeah. Jerry had a chip on his shoulder coming from an HBCU. Jerry had a chip on his shoulder. He was trying to prove he was worth being in the NFL. So I get it.
Yeah. It was that, but it was one other thing too that I learned from him. You know, just like when Terrell Owens came in. Terrell was a rookie when I was a rookie when I was in my last year. He came in with great work ethic. So when I say, you know, we run a ball and it's 50 yards and defenses weren't allowed to grab us and hold us. Now they could run to the point of attack and run through, but they couldn't touch you, you know, because we the same way we condition at, you know, on offense, they condition as defensive players. They ran to the ball, right? Well, Terrell Owens came in doing that. Just like I came in out of Florida State doing it. So when I see Jerry doing that, the biggest reason Jerry said was that he always felt like that no matter how good he got, he always felt like one of those young boys over there was going to do exactly what eventually happened, which was Terrell Owens became that dude. That's why he worked as hard as he did, because he wanted to make sure he kept distance between him and that new guy that came in that was trying to get his job, you know. So I learned a lot of stuff.
I got one more question for you before we get done. I got one more question.
Go ahead, Joe.
We saw Aaron Rodgers go down on Monday night. And the question was put in our group today about turf or grass. Now, you as a player, what's your opinion? Do you think? And I read somewhere where the NFL data supports that most of the injuries occurred on turf. Do you have a preference of turf or grass?
First of all, Aaron Rodgers, I don't think his injury was related to either turf. The sad thing, crazy thing about it, if you look at the replay and just look at how he got tackled, which looked routine, but his calf actually, did you see where it literally, you saw something tear? It was his Achilles, but it attaches to that calf, and it literally, you see it do that. And so he knew something was wrong. But I prefer back when I played, when the Los Angeles Rams were in Anaheim, they had the most perfect grass. It was low and it was fast because it was like turf, but it was grass. So that's what I prefer. I played on some good turf, but if everybody could get a real nice low grass turf. I think that's what everybody would prefer, but it is what it is. I like the way the Raiders did their stadium. They actually have grass. It's indoor, but what they do is literally, I don't know if y'all saw the video of it, but it's an open air. They can open it up, and they can take and roll out the grass turf because University of Nevada, Las Vegas plays in the same stadium. They play on turf. So they literally have 100 yards of field that literally they press a button and it rolls out like outside, and the grass gets watered and gets sunshine, and they roll in turf that's underneath that inside, and all of a sudden it's turf field. It's crazy. So the Raiders did good by having that grass field, even though it's indoor, for the Raiders, and that's because the players, I guarantee you, wanted it.
Mr. Carter, we have a couple of we actually have a lot of comments from our listeners. Most of them are basically just in support of everything you say, and they enjoy the conversation. But we have one, actually your nephew is here in the chat as well. Mr. Mitchell Wilkerson, he says, "Hey, Uncle."
Yeah, that's my nephew. What's up, Ned?
And also, the question is how you feel about the Appleton County Pirates this year, and where you think they're going and what it takes to make it to the next level. But you've already addressed that part.
Appleton County, I am telling you guys, Appleton County is a powerhouse. They're in 2A, and before they moved down to 2A, they played Cedar Grove, I think, in the semifinal game 3 years ago. But Appleton County is a powerhouse, and I mean, they have a great school. The facilities are great, and I'm gonna tell you, the coach there does a really good job. He does. We almost I tell you, just being honest, I love Cedar Grove, and Devin's gonna be here this year. He was here last year, gonna be here this year, and he's gonna be here next year. What we're gonna do his senior year, I don't know, but I've had a hope. With my 26-year-old, I was, would have loved for him to play for Appleton County, play on the field that I think his dad helped build. And I tell you, Devin, I would love for Devin to have an opportunity to play at Appleton County. Now, if that's going to happen, I don't know. But Appleton County is going to do a great job. They're going to be in the hunt for the 2A state championship this year, and I wish them the best of luck. And I tell you, next year when I forgot what is it called, the 2A, 3A, all that, the reclassifications. Cedar Grove's moving down to 2A, so I'm hoping that if we don't get back to Appleton County, that we're supposed to be going down to 2A, and if that is the case, I'm hoping that we'll get a chance to play at Appleton County at some point during the season. So keeping my fingers crossed for that, or us, going there and playing his senior year.
Well, I'm gonna say that comment for when you leave and we get back to our regular scheduled broadcast.
Okay. All right.
Jessica, do we have anything else from the viewers or from the listeners?
No, we don't have anything. I just want to I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and taking the time out to talk to us about your experience and giving advice on high school students and what they can do to succeed, because it was excellent. And I personally loved hearing about, what it took for you to get where you needed to go. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
You're quite welcome. It's a pleasure being here and having a chance to, because, it's kind of like, I've been writing on a book and I got to get it done because A lot of times I go through moments and I'm like, nobody wants to hear what you got to say. But then, you know, it's like anybody who's trying to accomplish something, you got to fight those thoughts, because even if it helps one person, it's worthy of it. And everybody's got their story, you know, but I know one day before I leave this earth that I want to make sure that my grandkids, my great grandkids, you know, and even my kids know things that they may not know already, you know, that I make and put in a book that I think is definitely worthy of sharing, because I grew up in Baxley, Georgia, 3 red lights and a flashing light. I think the flashing light's a stop sign. I think the flashing light's a stop sign now. But nonetheless, but you know what? I am so proud of Appleton County. You know, we've had I went to the NFL. After me, Carl Simpson went to the NFL. He followed me to Florida State 3 years after. He was a freshman when I was a senior. He was a second-round pick to the Chicago Bears. After that, we had Jamie Nails, who actually spurned University of Kentucky and went to FAMU because his mom went to FAMU, and he was committed to going where his mom was. What happened after FAMU? He freaking played for the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. So we had 3 NFL players, a lot of great players that just didn't make the NFL that played college ball. We had Byron Buxton, who is right now the starting center fielder for the Minnesota Twins. He had scholarship offers in football and baseball from the University of Georgia in 2012. And instead of doing Georgia, who wouldn't have done what he did? He was the second pick out of high school, second pick overall in the Major League Baseball draft to the Minnesota Twins. He just signed $100 million contract last year, you know, re-upping with the Minnesota Twins. So, and I want to make sure I say this: if people from Appleton County are listening, we got countless other successful people that may not have been athletics. You know, we have an amateur, you know, bowling champion, you know, that you know is a big deal that have come through Appleton County. So I mean, Appleton County has a lot to be proud of, and mostly Frankie King went to Western Kentucky, led the country in scoring in basketball, and was a draft pick of the LA Lakers. So Baxley has had a lot of successful people, you know, do great things. And Harris Skipper went to the University of South Carolina, played in the Canadian Football League, won a Grey Cup over there. He was the first to come out of Appleton County in football. And then I came along and made the NFL, you know, but we had Alfonso Bell, which was a great basketball player. But there were other great players and great people that have done great things. So I'm just trying to give Baxley, Appleton County Pirates their props, you know. So if they're listening, hey, I know it's just not me. I might have led the way, but, you know, I'm proud of everything that, you know, people have done after me and the things that are continuing to be done for Appleton County.
Y'all shoot out the cannon for Mr. Carter when you get a chance.
Oh,
right.
You know about that cannon?
Right.
Yeah. The cannon's on a truck right now, so we got to find the truck. We got to make sure that truck ain't got towed from across the street because they can't keep it on the school campus no more.
I know. Did you hear why though?
Well, we was told it was because of an insurance thing.
Oh well, somebody might have fabricated the story to me, but something happened where I don't know if somebody didn't pack it good or whatever, but something happened where something came out of it and like literally stuck in the middle of the field, like it could have hit somebody. Yeah, I mean, hey, the details may be a little, you know, not clear, but that's why they put it on the other side of the road. But I heard it was coming back.
Yeah, they said
you know what? We're gonna stick to the insurance, okay? We're gonna stick to because of the insurance. That's what we're gonna stick to.
Yeah, it's back
Dexter
in the
Carter,
stadium now, guys.
hey,
For the Apple
hey,
County
but
people in the comments, it's back in the stadium now. So
okay, cool. But I tell you what, hey, that thing went off a lot of time, at least 70 times for Dexter Carter. Minimum 70 times. It probably was over that. But Dexter Carter got in that zone a lot of times. And, maybe one day if they're listening, I'm just saying, and I am being selfish when I say this, I am in the Appleton County Hall of Fame, but, I know that stadium is named Jimmy Swain Stadium, but Doe Campbell Stadium thought enough to name the field after Bobby Bowden. So, maybe one day they'll say, Dexter Carter Field at Jimmy Swain Stadium. I'm just saying.
it has a nice ring to it, Mr. Carter.
it sounds nice.
It has a great
sounds
ring
nice.
to
it. maybe we can have some allies out there, some allies
For
out
sure.
there and see what we can do.
For sure. Mr. Carter, I sure do appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule, coming on with us, talking with us. I may see you Friday, I may not, but I will definitely see you again during the season.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on and talking with us tonight.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
And thank you. I appreciate you. And every one of you, whenever because I can't see you clearly because I don't have my glasses on. Maybe I need, let me see. Oh, there y'all go. There you go. Yeah. But when y'all run into me at some point, please come up and say hello to me, okay?
For sure.
I got a question.
Yeah, we do.
What you got real quick? What you got, EP?
For you being an alumni at Appleton County, give us that R.
Give you the R.
The pirate sound. The pirate sound.
You know what? Actually, believe it or not, that must be something new because we never did that whenever I was there. I'm gonna leave that to them. No.
Please do. Please leave it to them.
Yeah, leave it to them because we go. Please do, because we'll get up on that new coach, Coach Crow.
Yeah. Hey, Appleton County, best of luck to you guys the rest of this season. And hey, I love my Pirates, I love my Seminoles, and I love them Niners. And hey, I like them Jets too. Now I only played a part of one season with them, and as an alumni, the Jets treat me really nice when I go to New York. But that one season I was there, man, I lost more games that 1 year than I did put together probably with Appleton County and the 49ers and Florida State.
Well, they did win Monday night, even though they cost me a win in my fantasy football. It is what it is.
Yeah. Hey, but they are not the same old Jets. With or without Aaron Rodgers, they are not the same old Jets, and they are different this year. But yeah,
they got a nice roster over there.
Oh, they got a really nice roster, man.
Yeah.
But by the way, on my fantasy, I said they were gonna win, so that was a thumb up for me.
Okay, we'll talk about that one later.
All right, guys. Thank y'all. Hey, thank y'all again. Take care.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you. You have a good night, and tell the family we say hey.
Yes,
Will
best
do.
of luck to your sons.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Man, that was great, man, to hear from him. Get him to come on and conversate with us. I sure do appreciate him doing that for us. Even though he ran us over time, it was still a great conversation, though.
Yeah, and I know some of you out in the comments had some questions. Most of them were kind of the same, so I tried to kind of put them together to ask what he felt about his current high school team. So we got that in, and thank y'all for listening to the interview.
All I'm saying
we had
is
a lot of questions too. We didn't even get the answer. Ask all the questions that we had. It just kind of flow. We go with the flow around here. So that's what that was. But it was a great interview, and we thank Mr. Carter again for taking the time out to talk to us. Hello, Mr. Robert. How are you?
All I'm saying is Pepsi don't have interviews like that.
and we don't worry about it. Let's
And
take
you are right about that, because Coach don't worry about Pepsi. But this is why we are one of the best. We are the best high school podcast show, because we bring in people like that, former NFL players, coaches, players. We bring them in. But to get back to our regular scheduled programming for the evening, the Wizard did come through, and he was listening to Mr. Carter, but he did have some perp in his cup. So no, I'm just saying he got a little drunk, tipsy, and had to roll out.
He said perp. He said perp like purple drink. He didn't say perk like Percocets. Y'all get it right.
Perp. He had that perp in his cup.
Yes, Mr. Wizard is not on Percocets.
He be drinking that witch's brew. But he did want me to go ahead and throw out his predictions for next week real fast, and that way we can get back to our regular scheduled program. As far as he is concerned, he has the top 10 in single A D2, everyone in the top 10 winning. But he does expect a close game between McIntosh County Academy and Lanier County. He is putting that one on upset alert, so do be on the lookout for that game coming this weekend, this Friday. Moving on to D1. The only team he expects in D1 to lose this weekend is Brooks County, given the fact they're playing 6A Thomas County Central. All right. So I don't think we see anything wrong with that prediction. Oh, I'm sorry. Also, he expects Rockmart to be upset by, Irvin County to be upset by Rockmart and D1 this weekend come Friday. Trying to see if the panel has anything to say on that, or the viewers has any comments on that.
I don't see any comments from the viewers.
Panel, y'all got any comment on Irwin and Rockmart?
No.
Okay. 2A. We got 4 teams off in 2A this week, so only 6 teams are playing. No upsets are expected, but again, he does expect a close game, but he does expect Rockmart to beat Irvin County in 2A.
Laney might have something to say about you, Thompson beating them so handily, but our Laney friend hadn't been here since Joe scared him off, so there's that.
It is what it is on that one. Mr. Laney, please come back up. Please show up on Friday. We're gonna do it like that. 3A. He does expect number 1 City Grove to lose to Mill Creek, and he does expect Carver Columbus to lose to Brookwood. Those are the Wizards' upset picks for the top 10 in 3A this week.
So he's got Carver losing 2 in a row.
Yes.
Obadiah says Fitzgerald might need that week off. Clearly, they do something going on down there in Ben Hill County.
Something. Just to make sure, panel, y'all got anything to say on 3A before we move on to 4A?
Carver better not lose.
Yeah, I mean, Carver. Wait a minute, Carver, Atlanta. Okay.
Oh, no, my bad. I'm looking at the wrong one.
Well, we expect Carver, Atlanta to lose to Buford anyway.
Okay.
But Carver, Columbus, we're expecting Carver, Columbus to lose to Brookwood.
And I'm saying they better not.
Okay, and I'm with you. Carver, Atlanta, we expect them to lose to Buford, big time to Buford. That's, if you're not watching high school football, paying attention to what's going on, you should expect the same thing. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. There's no need to even try and sell that one to you. But the Carver, Columbus, and Brookwood, Carver Columbus is on upset alert against Brookwood this week, per the Wizard.
Okay. Well, Carver, I want y'all to pull it out, man. I want y'all to stay in the top 10, okay?
All right. 4A. Expects top 10 and 4A to handle business, but does expect a close game between Holy Innocents and Douglas. This is a game for Douglas, 3A school Douglas, to prove themselves and their record.
Whoa.
Yeah, yes, sir.
At number 4.
What about it?
What you got going there, Mr. Wizard? What the Wizard got going there?
The Wizard got Perry blowing out Peace County.
Make sure you get with the Wizard and find out what he got going on right there.
Okay, we'll do it. I tell you what, when we get done with this show tonight, we'll do a 3-way call.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, we can go on.
5A, expect 5A to handle business. No upset. Everybody handle business in 5A. If everything goes expected, all teams stay in the same spots come the following week. All right. The only game that he's really saying is on upset alert is Warner Robins this week. Warner Robins is coming to Henry County to play Dutchtown, so we shall see how we're going to keep an eye on that one this Friday night.
So what the Wizards got the result of that Dutchtown winning?
No, Warner Robins winning 35-31.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it is on the Pickles when I did mine. I think I saw that on the Pickles when I did mine.
Yeah, I think that game is on the Pickles.
Yeah. 6A. In 6A, expects everybody to handle business with the exception of the Marist Blessed Trinity game. He's expecting Marist to win that game by a touchdown and expecting Blessed Trinity to lose, obviously, sitting at number 10. So that is his game to watch in 6A this weekend. Everything else in 6A should be a blowout. Everybody should handle business accordingly. All right, I ain't think the Pounder had a problem with that one.
No.
7A. Expects everybody in 7A to put up at a minimum 35 points this weekend. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, regardless of who they're playing. Some teams should put up 50 pieces this weekend, I expect. Now, the Wizards is saying Buford's going to score 49 against Carver. I'm thinking they're going to put up a 50 piece. Carrollton, I wouldn't be surprised they put up a 60 piece. Same thing with Parkview. Milton might end up putting up a 60 piece, and Valdosta should, at a minimum, sell 50 pieces of wings this weekend in Deerfield Beach, Florida.
Okay, I have a question. So Jenkins, this is not Jenkins County. Where is Jenkins High School?
Savannah.
Okay.
I got a question. Will Carver Atlanta be ranked after Buford destroys them?
No.
Probably not.
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not. No.
Probably not. Because
how many losses they've already taken?
well, it's not even the number of losses they've taken. It's have they been competitive in their loss? That's my thing. For me personally, was it a competitive loss? Losing by 1 or 2 touchdowns. If you're losing by more than 2 touchdowns, then you got to go because that's not a competitive win, a competitive loss.
Morris Shields says Newton's defense is tough, and Paul says,
my baby.
"Yeah, my baby." And Paul Wilson says Carrollton's going to score 50 by halftime,
Which is possible.
And while we're on Carrollton, shout out to Juju. He's the first high school player to ever make the cover of Sports Illustrated. So that's very impressive. Shout out to him.
Wow. Big up, Juju.
Welcome to the podcast, Angela. She said, ain't no way Newton is getting 31 points on Westlake's defense.
Hey, I just need for Westlake defense to step up and prove the Wizard wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Is Westlake defense really like that, though? Because the times I've seen them play this year, I mean, it's evident they good. Now, don't get me wrong.
Who, the defense?
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask you a question? What defense?
30 plus on them, didn't they?
Exactly. City Grove put up 30 plus on them. But my thing is,
that's my point. The defense hasn't looked exactly stout to me.
Well, they did.
And I agree with you. Now they did.
Somebody.
Now they look good against Cordell County for sure. They look good as hell against Cordell County, but the defense scored 35 points. Offense put up 14 points against Cordell County. But the following week, when they played another 318, the defense put up no points. It was all offense, but the defense gave up a lot of points.
That's my point.
That's why Newton is a lot better and has the depth to run with a Westlake.
And shout out Bean again, man. My baby a senior in Newton County, man. She sit with the football players at lunch, and she been telling me that their football program is pretty good this year. So I look for that Newton County and Westlake game to be a lot more competitive than what we think.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Angela is wrong. I'm just saying Westlake defense hasn't looked stout to me, except that one game where they played the cupcake.
Cordell County. Go on and say, I said it for you, Cordell County.
I'm just trying to figure out, was it a frosted cupcake or what?
No, it was buttercream.
Watermelon frosting on it.
Boy, y'all ain't no good. Y'all ain't no good.
We don't ate some of that cupcake plenty of times. I know what he talking about.
Y'all ain't no good. Y'all ain't no good.
It leaves a weird taste in your mouth, kind of like.
Hey, last year in the playoff first round, we ate some of that watermelon cupcake.
It wasn't that good either.
It wasn't that good.
Obadiah says, I think that the Thomasville score will be higher with Thomasville High School on top. Don't sleep on that score the Wiz predicted.
Well, now I'm gonna speak up for the Wizard. Now, keep in mind the Wizard is not just picking winners and losers. He's trying to predict a score. So he's looking at a lot of different things. So, of course, he's not always right on the score. A lot of times he's close. Sometimes he's perfect. He hits it nails on. But the Wizard is just trying to give you guys an idea of what he thinks is going to happen based on current situation. All right. And
not to interrupt you, bro, but from what I've seen with the Wizard the last couple of years is it's a point margin. You know what I mean? If he say a team winning by 7, 35-28, it may not be 35-28, but he's normally spot on with that point spread.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at. And do keep in mind, the Wizard is 80% has proven himself last year to be at least at a minimum 80% correct on picking winners and losers. So, but at the same time, it's a conversation starter. It's to get the conversation going on these games. And that's our main thing, is to get the conversation going on these games, getting you guys, the listeners, the viewers, the fans, to interact with us.
My homegirl beat his ass, though.
Man, we ain't got to talk about that. I ain't going to talk about that right now. We'll talk about that playoff time.
My sister.
We'll talk about that one come November.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to that water, right?
Yeah, in November. I'm just glad. Hey, the Wizard is glad that she ain't playing this year.
I heard that.
So, on behalf of the Wizard, Sister Shan, thank you for not playing the Pick'ems this year, because you too far behind to catch up right now. But actually, you might be able to catch up with some of those. You might be able to catch up and get that 5th spot, though.
Yeah, I believe she could.
Based on what I'm seeing. Yeah. Obadiah says 35-14, Thomasville High on top.
Okay. Well, all I'm gonna say on that is, if you think you can beat the Wizard this week, go in, do your pick'ems, and beat the Wizard this week. That's all I'm gonna say on that. I put my picks in to beat him. He got his picks in on to beat y'all. Y'all go in and do the same thing.
And that's that on that.
So before we roll out for the night, I would, you know me, man. I be listening to Roxanne Shante on the way home, and they had a question the other day that was pretty interesting to me. So this is both for the fellas that are listening and the females that we have listening. So, what I'm doing, I'm typing this up. Give me a second. I'm typing this up and I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
Sound like you picking. Don't sound like typing to me.
So, I should have said this for Friday night, but I'm not. I'm just gonna put it out there because it was interesting to me because I know I had some names that came to mind. So it's funny to me. So I'm gonna present it to y'all. So here is the question of the day. What's a name that you hear that makes you think that individual is a freak?
Shut up, yo.
That's the question of the day.
Well, I don't ran into a lot of Katinas in my days, and they've been my lord.
Now, like I said, this is both for the males and the females. Because, the female might say, man, if I hear somebody named John, I already know right out the rip what's going on. For the fellas.
You want honest
Yeah.
answer?
Yeah.
Mike. Anything like Dontarius or the Quavius, any Aviuses.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. For females, it's everything in Neek. Dominique, Monique.
Jasmine. And then she got a nickname. If her nickname is Peaches, any kind of fruit, you know what I'm saying? Strawberry.
Y'all funny, boy. Y'all is hilarious.
Yeah,
Kiki.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Man.
Keisha.
Say it again, sis.
Keisha.
Keisha, yeah.
Yep.
And that's my mama name.
Anything with Easter in it. That's right.
Anything in Easter, Neek.
No, y'all missed it. Did y'all hear little sis after she said her name?
What? What she said?
Her mama name.
That's my mama name.
Oh yeah, we caught that. Oh yeah, I caught that. I was trying to move on from that. I wasn't trying to keep that in the conversation.
Whoa, now I said Katina and my mama named Tina. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
And she come out the house and her fingernails and toenails painted white. Watch out.
Hold on now.
Hey
man, I don't care what to say. That's facts on that.
I got my toenails painted white once, but that was at somebody's request.
Well, we know why. We know why that request was made.
I dang near keep mine white.
Oh.
Okay then.
Mine are yellow. So
you don't need to say nothing else for the rest of the night.
If she drive a Honda Civic.
You terrible.
I'm just saying, I done lived a little bit. I'm just saying.
Lisa Austin.
Yep, Lisa Austin.
You know what? Oh, so we going to cars now. So we going to cars now.
This is about the Altima. Now, 9 times out of 10, that Altima, that girl is working hard, and her man in her Altima while she at work.
No, that's the Honda. That's the Honda.
That both of them right there. That both of them. That Honda Accord, man. That Honda Accord / Civic, and that Altima. Don't never.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that Altima. Don't ever get in that Altima, because more than likely her man about that for.
Look, Beatrice. Yeah, she said that old T-top.
Beatrice. Baby, you told a show enough truth.
Man,
You
stop
told a
that,
show
man. I'm trying to buy me an old T-top.
or a doggone Charger. If you driving a Charger, stay clear.
Hey,
Still
my
clear.
sons drive Chargers. Get off of that.
Man, that's them army folks right there in them Chargers.
Hey, I got one for you. If she drop her children off at her mama's house and don't pick them up till 2 days later.
Beatrice said she got 3. You gonna sell my brother one?
Hey, sell me one. Where you at?
I got another one. I got another name. Carlos.
You know what? We're gonna do occupations on. You know what? We're gonna do occupations on Friday night.
Ain't worth a quarter.
I got one more for you. The ones that like putting Mick Marie on their name.
On their Facebook name.
What?
Facebook jail. Facebook jail this girl and Facebook jail this. Your name Facebook jail Melissa. Then you telling on yourself.
Nah, bro. Here's the one. If she got her cash tag in her social media bio.
Got that cash up in there.
Yep.
Well, y'all stupid ahead. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all stupid ahead.
If she chew bubble gum with her mouth open while she twirling her hair. That's the one. And that's mostly the Keisha's.
Is she in McDonald's with a bonnet on her head and some bunny slippers on?
That's the one.
Yeah, Hey, all I'm gonna say is stay away from the ones in Walmart with that bonnet on their head for sure.
Now, I'll be honest now. Them the ones I like.
Well, you throw it off, dog. You throw it off.
Let me know. Tell them you're looking for them.
People said the gold teeth, she right.
Oh, phone in the bra. You right, Patrick. She got a phone in the bra.
Oh, yeah.
Watch out.
Well, y'all silly. Y'all are silly. Man, you know what? I ain't put up no more questions on the day until Monday.
You need one Friday night. Some tell me I'm gonna need something.
Is she from Atlanta, but she come down to the country during the summer to visit her family?
Okay, Joe. You got there's some stories behind that one.
I told y'all I done lived a little bit now.
If y'all hanging out and she pee outside the car.
Right on the doorstep, right on the porch.
But that's them issues. But that's them issues for you.
With no tissue.
But that's them issues for you. If he in the goddamn show.
I gotta say what Jeffrey says now. I gotta read what Jeffrey says. He said, "Stay away from the ones that always got a back door and a sack of weed."
He probably saying a backwood.
Well, yeah, a backwood and a sack of weed. I just didn't see it.
With that being said, these questions are not positive on Friday night of FNL Podcast Show.
Man, say what you want to say, but they funny though. These answers and responses are funny.
The backwood, yeah. I know that autocorrect get you every time, don't it, Jeffrey? Get you every time.
When she trying to stand up like she bow-legged with some Air Force Ones on.
That's what he said. One leg in the force of trying not to crease. That's a bitch.
Boy, where y'all be hanging out at? So I know where not to go.
Well, if she wears sundress in the wintertime, you sure better stay away from that.
What you talking about? What you talking about, boy? Yes, sir.
I got some stories too, Joe.
Oh, Lord have mercy. So, guys, with that being said, we can table this question and add another one on Friday because I don't think we quite through with this question of the day. So
hey, Jess.
One
more. Jeffrey Murray, exactly right. When she got a sexy and a red in her name, if you run into anyone she call herself sexy or her nickname just simply red, you better watch out. Better watch out.
Y'all do my sisters so wrong.
Boy, her panties hard in the middle.
Ooh. Ooh. You saw that same meme I saw. Okay.
Yep. All right, keep it with me.
Thank you so much. Obadiah said, "Ain't no show like this show." Well, that's the goal, to keep you entertained, keep you coming back, and liking what we put out, and you all make it possible as well. So we thank you, listeners, for joining us on the podcast show today. We want to thank the Wizard in his absence for giving his predictions. Again, guys, make sure that you check the page and do your pick'ems for this week so you can prove the wizard wrong. Thanks so much to Mr. Carter. He gave us a wealth of knowledge, and we thank him so much for taking his time out to come and speak with us. And thank you to the panel. Y'all keep this show going. I'm blessed to have you. There's a thing called chemistry, and we've got it. And so I thank you guys for that. Anything else?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the show tonight. As always, this is a wonderful panel we have. And special thanks to Dexter Carter coming on. And looking forward to the next show. And thank you, viewers. Thank you all who are active in the comments.
Yes. Make sure y'all come back Friday night. It's gonna be a Say It With Your Chest edition. I'm already sure I'm gonna have to cuss a whole bunch of pair of people out Friday night. So if you want to come see the show, y'all make sure y'all come back Friday night at 11:30. So I'll catch you
On
later,
that note, all I got is peace up, A-Town down. Love, peace, and hair grease.
You better not lose.
Yep.